game is, they played hard all the time and they played well and really had a lot of pride in their performance and the way they played. And you could see it today. They did an excellent job. Thought their quarterback really played an outstanding game. Tight end obviously played an outstanding game as well. And, we've got a good football team, and it was a tough one tonight. We'll evaluate what happened. Couldn't be more proud of our football team, though, and especially these two young men that are up here with me right now, just for what they've meant to TCU football and just what kind of people they are. And I think we're all disappointed that we didn't play better and we didn't coach better and, we didn't represent our team better than we did tonight. But we'll learn from it, and the next time we're on a stage like this, we'll handle it better.
Thank you, Coach. Again, let's get questions for our two student athletes first, and then we'll go to Coach. So questions for our student athletes. We'll start right down here in the very front, in the middle. Let me get you the mic.
This question is for Max and D winners Jamie Plunkett with Frogs Today. Guys, I know that this isn't the result you wanted today, but when you look back on this season after being picked 7th in the Big 12 and everybody kind of overlooked you guys, how do you put into words, finishing 13-2 with the Fiesta Bowl championship win?
Yeah, I think Coach Dykes said it. Tonight did not go the way we wanted to. Disappointed in that aspect, but tonight isn't going to take away from this season and what we were able to do as a program. I don't think that's going to define all the good memories and all the success that we had this season to project and put this program going in the right direction and moving forward. I think that was the biggest thing of this program's moving in the right way or in the right direction. There were so many great memories this year, and obviously we're disappointed tonight, but we're not going to let this kind of take away from a remarkable season.
Yeah, I think he pretty much just hit the nail on the head. This is something we definitely weren't looking forward to, but looking back, it was a long journey, and I think all the guys kind of appreciate Coach Kaz and Coach Dykes coming in and just showing us the ropes of how to be a winner, and we're excited to have them for the next couple of years.
And I'll say this to add to that too. I think. As Max said, look, a loss like this stings. But, we talked about this a little bit in the locker room a second ago, just about, how far we've come in a year and what these guys have been able to accomplish, really, when nobody outside of our locker room expected it or really believed in them. And they always believed in themselves, and they always rolled their sleeves up and worked incredibly hard and competed every single second of every day. And you couldn't ask for more than that. And again, I'm disappointed that we didn't make a better showing tonight because that's not indicative of who we are. But we'll look back. It's going to take some time for the sting to go away, I assure you. But we'll look back on the season and build on it from here.
Any other questions for our student athletes right down here in the front?
Question for D and Max both. Mac Engel from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Guys, were they that much better than you? That outcome we were not expecting at all. Were they that much better than you?
I got it. Yeah, defensive-wise, they didn't really do anything special. We kind of just beat ourselves up. They kind of just executed on our misalignments and just kept scoring on those, things like that. We just kept beating ourselves up, just overthinking, trying to run too fast to the ball and things of that nature.
Yeah, they're a great team. Everybody knows how good they've been, this year and prior years, and we knew that. I think tonight was one of those nights where, at least offensively, we couldn't get anything rolling. They were playing well on defense. We were shooting ourselves in the foot. I was making bad decisions, and I wasn't executing well, not putting us in a position to, score some points and, move the ball. But, they're a great team. Obviously, that's not what we thought was going to happen or, wanted to happen or what we worked for. But, it was just, one of those nights where we couldn't really do much on our end.
Take our next question for the student athletes over here on our right, fourth row back.
Max and D, both of you guys. I know it's hard right now in this moment to kind of grasp it all, but when you look back at this team, what are you going to remember about the character and resiliency that you guys displayed just all season long?
Yeah, I think that's the best thing about being a part of a football team, and especially this one. I mean, long past this time, we're probably not going to remember the wins and losses or stuff like that, but we're going to remember the men in that locker room, the guys that, we got to grow up with, that, we learn more about, when stuff got tough, and things kind of got hard, you saw what type of men that we got in our locker room that continue to fight, believe. It's such a fun group to go to work with. It's the little stuff that you got to remember about this season, probably less about the wins and losses, but what great men we got.
Okay, we've got our next question on the second row, right here in the middle.
Joe Reedy, Associated Press. Max, how much was Georgia's pressure? Was that the most pressure that you've kind of seen all year in terms of how consistent and quick they were?
Yeah, I mean, they were good up front. I don't know. I don't really know compared to stuff, coming up in this year or this season. They had some, some blitzes, some pressures they got through. I held on to the ball a little bit too long. Wasn't getting through reads. Was kind of causing trouble for the O-line myself. A lot was on kind of, on me. But they had some good schemes, and I think, again, going back to, the stuff that we were doing that, we weren't executing well, and they were playing well on their end, and, that, isn't a great recipe for success.
Take our last question for the student athletes back here from Ivan, our right side.
For both players, you guys, this hasn't happened to you. Can you describe the feeling, the frustration early in the game when you figured out what you're so good at wasn't there tonight?
It was just something that we really haven't faced, like you said, but Coach Collins did a great job just trying to tell us, the next play, always have that next play mentality, just to come out and just compete and, go from there.
Yeah, I think when stuff like that happens, you gotta go back to your roots, go back to your values, the culture that we set. It was frustrating. You haven't been in a situation like that, but you got to dig yourself out of a hole. You got to believe. And I know going forward, this program, is going to get on the stage again, and if we're ever in a situation like that, I know we're gonna be able to get out of it, have some success, and I'm pretty positive in that.
Max D, thank you for your time. Congratulations on a great season. We'll let you head back to the locker room now, and we'll transition to questions for Coach. Start right down here in the very front on our right side, Coach.
Stephen Johnson, Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Sonny, you said you guys are going to kind of sit down and evaluate what's next. I guess, is there any value you can take from this game and kind of showing you and the staff how much further you guys need to go to kind of really become a championship program?
Yeah, for sure. That's the good thing about, I think, our program and really our coaching staff, and the world will look in the mirror. It's kind of what I told our players afterwards. We've got to look in the mirror, and it all starts with me, and then works down from there. And the thing that we did, we had a formula that worked. Where we played pretty well for 14 straight weeks. And we carried the same formula into this game. We didn't do anything different. There was no preparation that was any different. There was no. I didn't have any sense that our players ran a different place. Their preparation was good. There was zero difference between, preparation for this game than there was for the Michigan game, 10 days ago or 9 days ago, whenever that was. And so, I think what happens sometimes is you get on a run like we've been on. You play a lot of games like we played this year that are emotional games and games that you put everything you have into it to win it. You did it 9 days ago against, again, a Michigan team where we had to hold on and fight and scratch for every inch against a very good football team, and found a way to win and get out there tonight. And, Georgia did a great job, got off to a fast start. We answered, cut it to 10-7, and then for whatever reason, it went downhill from there. And so we'll sit down as a staff and, begin trying to figure out what happened tomorrow, and make sure it doesn't happen again and learn from it. I think that's the best thing that happens when you face adversity like this. You make mistakes and you learn from them, and you get better as a program, you get better as a coach, you get better as players, and the next time you handle the situation a little bit better. But our preparation was really good. I thought we had, two of the better practices when we were in full pads that we had all year. And to be able to have those, and it was week 22 for us, I believe, for the players to practice like they did 22 weeks into the season, it's a real credit to those guys. And again, I don't know what happened tonight. We ran into a really good team, and we did some very uncharacteristic things, and it snowballed on us. And that hasn't happened to us one time this year, that we hadn't been able to fight our way back and figure out a way to get back in the game or win the game. And we weren't able to do it tonight. So we'll self-evaluate and make corrections and go from there.
We're going to go all the way down here in the very front.
Jamie Plunkett, Frogs Today. Coach, you mentioned that this thing is going to last for a little while and that you're going to get back to work evaluating on this tomorrow. But when you think about how you carry a season like this into the future for this program, what's the next month or so look like for you as you put a plan together to do that?
Yeah, look, our guys have been going, we've been practicing pretty much since the end of July, and we have a bunch of young people that are 18 to 22 years old that have really poured everything they have into it. They've been home one weekend since the football season started, to see their family. And so these guys have paid a lot into this run and to having this kind of success. They've given everything they have, made a ton of sacrifices. We start school here pretty quickly. So, we've got a good plan on how to give our guys some rest. We have a significant group of newcomers that start school that actually report tomorrow, believe it or not, show up on our campus and go through orientation, start moving in the dorms tomorrow. So, no rest for the weary. We'll get back. We'll start, helping those players get settled, and they'll start school a week from Tuesday, and here we go. So, we've got to give these guys a little bit of a break. It'll be a little bit different schedule maybe than it normally is because of that. We'll wrap up recruiting, still have, 3 or 4 recruits that we're chasing, and hopefully get those guys on board and just continue to build and learn from tonight, and again, make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Go back down here in the front, right in the very front.
Coach Derek Leto, KillerFrogs.com. Can you just describe what this entire run has done for our city of Fort Worth and, the university in general?
Yeah, that's one of the things that's most disappointing. I mean, look, you hate it for your players, you hate it for your fans that traveled all the way to LA. They've really invested in our program. I know flights were expensive. I know tickets were expensive. I know all of it was hard to do, and our fans answer the call every single time we ask them to do something. They've done it, and we're all very appreciative. We're disappointed for them. We feel like we let them down with our performance tonight. We certainly wouldn't be where we are without them, and wish we would have represented TCU in the football program better tonight than we did. But again, we're proud of what we've done, proud of them, appreciate their support of us. It's been a fun year. It's been a long year. I think all of us probably need to try to catch our breath tomorrow and get back to the grindstone here pretty quickly.
We're going to take 2 last questions. I've got Ivan back here, and then we'll come to the front.
Sonny, you used the word uncharacteristic. What's at the top of that list that y'all did that was uncharacteristic?
Yeah, it's interesting, Ivan. I mean, you look at early in the game, and we really, protected the quarterback well when we dropped back to throw. It got worse as the game went along, and our threat of running the football consistently went away. But we felt pretty good after a series or 2 that we could drop back and we could throw the ball, and we could create some things offensively. Felt like that we could also run the ball. We just dug such a big hole for ourselves. We never could quite get them stopped defensively. We never could get out of our own way on offense. First play of the game for us was a false start. We probably have had 3 false starts all year. You know what I mean? In probably over 1,000 plays, maybe had 3 false starts. First play of the game, we have a false start tonight. So, just things like that. that's just not who we are. We're not that kind of football team. If we make those mistakes, we're not going to win football games. We're certainly not going to be playing for a national championship, making those kind of mistakes. And I thought we had some busts defensively, some alignment busts, some assignment busts. We cut some receivers loose. Again, that's not been something that we've done. I think in some ways our guys, we got in the locker room a little bit before the game. You could sense some tension in the room, and we've got to try to not have that. We haven't had that in the past. We've been pretty loose, and the guys were really excited to play, really fired up to play. I thought we were probably just a little too fired up, maybe a little too emotional, and as a result, did some things that we don't normally do. I just don't think we were in the state of mind that we needed to be in, and we've got to do a better job trying to get our players there, and obviously failed in that regard. And again, we'll learn from this mistake and hopefully address it and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Last question right here in the middle, second row.
Chris Rim, the New York Times. Did you feel like, well, earlier you talked about preparation and how the things were working for 14 weeks. Did you feel like, I'm not sure if you were saying this, but did you feel like you should have altered from that for this game? And
I don't know. I think it had worked for us in the past. You know what I mean? And did you have a second part to that question? If you did, I didn't mean to cut you off. But let me just say this. I felt like that, we had success. We had played probably close to our capabilities, throughout the run that we went on this year. And we didn't want to change that. We felt like it had kind of got us to this point as a program, and we didn't really want to change it, and we were comfortable with that preparation style. Go ahead and finish.
Yeah, I was going to say, and do you feel like this loss taught you anything about what you need to do as a coach to prepare?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, certainly. We're certainly sit down as a staff and, watch the film, go through every single call we made in the game, and, and say, okay, look, why didn't this work? Where did this go wrong? What could we have done better? And talk about preparation. Talk to some of our players, get some feedback from those guys about how they felt coming into the game. If we felt like there was too much in the game plan, not enough in the game plan, just all those things. I know leading up to today, I know our guys felt very comfortable about the preparation. Felt like it was as good as we had. As I said, the practices were very good. Felt like the game plan was good coming in, and clearly it wasn't what it needed to be, and clearly we didn't execute it the way we wanted to.
Coach, thank you very much.
Okay,
really
thank you.
appreciate your time.